What this does for the Yankees, all right, and I believe they'll get Christian Walker probably today, and I love him. This puts them right there to make a massive swing for Tucker. And the way you do that, now that you have Fried, now that you have a guaranteed, I'm not sure if he's like quite Garrett Cole a couple of years ago, but he's obviously an absolute stud. If you want to trade Luis Heel, Clark Schmidt, or both, and then obviously a couple of really good position players to satisfy whatever the Astros are asking for, the Yankees right now have put themselves in a position to have a legitimate conversation and truly pursue one of the best young players in baseball. That's what they've done.
Here's the thing, though. I don't love the idea. I like the idea of Fried. He would be the guy that I'm going to invest in if I was investing in starters. I said that before. I'd say it again. I would not invest in Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
Trading for Crochet, different story. But as far as the free agent top-end guys, Fried would be the guy that I would go after. But I wouldn't do it under the assumption or the idea that I'm trading Clark Schmidt and or Luis Heel. Like, it's probably going to be one or the other. It wouldn't be for both. I get Kyle Tucker, and I guess I'll live with it after the Yankees. Let's say they do get him. It's probably going to take at least one of those two and then some. Okay, fine, but are you really then getting better? Remember now, if you take Heel, let's just say it's Heel. That was one of the names I think Joel Sherman wrote in there as a matter of fact.
It's Kyle Tucker. Okay. You're going to have to give up something.
Versus Schmidt. Let's just use Heel.
Yeah.
If you take Heel off of last year's Yankees, and replace him with Max Fried, okay, it's kind of a wash. Like, Heel was great for the Yankees last year, especially early on when Cole was down. And then you're essentially replacing Soto with Tucker. So now it's like, okay, now you're back to a little less than even. Okay, Walker takes them to another level. You see what I'm saying? Like, I love Kyle Tucker as a ball player. I think it'd be great for the Yankees. Where he plays, figure it out.
Left field.
But it's not like the Yankees would have gotten, with the addition of Fried, with trading for Kyle Tucker, it's not like they've gotten that much better. If you're giving up, you lose Soto, obviously, and then you're giving up, let's say, Heel on top of that.
I think the Yankees have a chance to have their most unexpectedly smart offseason maybe ever. Because even the championship that was won, and that was obviously, I don't want to say bought, but when they spent all the money in 2009, that was all right. We want this guy, we want that guy, and we were two pitchers, a first baseman. Here's $250 million. Let's bring in C.C. Burnett and Mark Teixeira. Not that we didn't appreciate that. We certainly did, but there was no real true calculations from this move will set up that move, which will then maybe possibly enable the Yankees to do this. That was straight up, here's the check, let's go join the party, jump on in with Jeter and A-Rod. And it did, and it worked out. There are so many possible machinations of what can happen here for the next couple of weeks for the Yankees. Now, I do hear you to an extent. Like, if you get Fried, but then you lose Heel.
Yeah, that's a wash.
Well, it's a wash, but then obviously, if this results in Kyle Tucker, I'm not saying Kyle Tucker's quite Juan Soto, but he does things better than Soto, and he's not quite the hitter than Soto, but Kyle Tucker's an absolute beast.
Well, right, man. But it's still not. You're still not getting better by replacing.
But you are when you factor in a Gold Glove first baseman 3 years in a row who's going to hit you 25, 30 home runs, and again, anticipated growth from the young kids, which we always throw around. But the other thing that you could do, I should have said this before. As much as I'm excited about this, and I like the Fried signing, and I love the pathway, the runway to a crazy 2 weeks here for the Yankees that could make them better than last year.
It's fun building out a ball club, isn't it?
It's real fun, and this is an unconventional way for the Yankees to do it. Usually, it's the sign, it's the money. All right, so I appreciate their forward thinking and their pivot, which seems to be better than most people even anticipated, but. If they do trade for Tucker, and I have to see if the Astros are willing to do business with the Yankees because the Yankees dined them and all the stuff with the cheating and all the blah, 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 whatever. But if they do, then I'm not saying that this is very likely, but you can't tell me that it's impossible that then, all right, they lose Luis Heel, then they go out and they trade for Garrett Crochet. Now, I know the Mets are going to be there. Some other teams are going to be there, depending upon what you give up for Kyle Tucker, how much is left.
Well, that'd be a different story. That's a major one.
Well, but I get that, but depending upon what you give up for Kyle Tucker, I don't really know what's in the...
They'd have enough to give up.
Probably not. I don't know what's in the reservoir at that point.
Right.
But maybe. I don't know. Maybe you take on some bad money. I don't know. All I know is this is the first time. Yesterday, I rallied as a Yankee fan. The day before, we all took it on the chin, as we had to. You guys got Soto. Today I'm actually pumped. Today, I am seeing something that Like, I knew they'd get...
Well, what if they don't get Tucker?
Well, if they don't get Tucker, my plan, which I'm still always okay with, is still there. Like, they're going to get Walker. They're going to probably get Bellinger. There's other that maybe Profar. Like, their team from 1 through 9, I stand by this, is going to be better than last year's team. I just believe that. And if they don't get Tucker, well, then that means you enter next year with not only Cole and Heel, but now Max Fried. So, like, the Yankees right now, they're spinning in a very positive direction. I think Yankee fans should be excited. There's still a lot of things that need to happen. Christian Walker's not yet signed, and if he was to jump elsewhere for another 15 or 20 mil, I don't want to hear about Pete Alonso. At that point, the Yankees will have failed. They must bring in Christian Walker. I believe that they will. I'm a happy Yankee fan right now. I'm very excited.
If I would be excited, I'll be happy when they make the moves here.
Well, they already made one yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
They got Fried.
Right.
They got Fried, and they got Heel, and they got Cole. And they got the best player in baseball in Judge.
Well, they have Heel for now, but that's what I'm saying. If you're going to turn around and trade him, that to me takes away from what happened yesterday. It can't just be a wash. Like, the idea is to get better. Losing Soto was a big problem to start to get better. Right now, they're not getting better. Right now, they're getting back to even. We thought maybe they were doing it a different way with Fried, but then if they turn around and trade one of the other arms, one of the young promising arms in Clark Schmidt and
for Tucker,
now you're getting back to even.
Yeah, but then you always make a deal for a mid-level pitcher, get some innings, and just hit the hell out of the baseball and destroy people with Judge and Tucker.
Well, they're not going to have a better...
And Christian Walker and Austin Wells in year 2. The Yankees lineup, if the Yankees get... I don't care what anybody says. If the Yankees get Kyle Tucker and
he's not better than Juan Soto.
I'm not saying he's better than Juan Soto, but if they get Christian Walker, which I believe they will, and they trade for Tucker... Next year's lineup is absolutely better than last year's lineup.
I understand.
There's no other way to look at it. It's just simply better.
Right, but we're also talking then in ifs.
Well, I get that.
Right. Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a long way to go. They got to make it happen.
That's why I said I'm excited.
And just for the record for Sherman here, saying the Yankees, though, might not be the most determined pursuer of Tucker as the winter meetings neared an end. Cubs, seen as a strong player. Giants... and Philly's also involved. So who knows? I mean, that's a home run move.
Stiff competition.
Yeah. But the problem is, BT, it's not just a luxurious move here. The Yankees need this to kind of get back to even.
Well, they don't need Tucker, but they need Walker and Bellinger and some of the other things we hit. Like, this is just a new chapter. This ups it a level or two.
It's not going to be Tucker and Bellinger, right? It would be one or the other.
I agree with that.
So it's one or the other plus Walker.
Yes.
Okay, and then with Fried. And one more thing before we get back to the calls here, 888-808-1019, BT and Sal on the Fan. The 8 years, I couldn't wait to have this conversation with you because it's the thing that we go in circles with.
Yep.
The 8 years benefits the Yankees. Everybody, how could they go 8 years? Who cares about the years? It's about the total dollar amount. Max Fried wasn't going to sign with the Yankees for anything less than the $218. Mm-hmm. He did the Yankees a favor by saying, okay, we'll just make it over the course of 8 years. Otherwise, it would have been the same amount over 7 years. Think about it. They now have Max Fried working more the extra year for the same amount of money. If it were 7 years, it would have been $31 million a year. Instead, they get him at a value at $27 million. Okay, in years 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, is it going to be good? Who cares about that? It's about trying to win right now. He was the best pitcher on the market as far as I'm concerned in free agency.
Nasty.
It was the move they had to make. Don't get caught up in the 8 years. It's the total. This was a good deal for the Yankees and able to lower that AAV to $27.5 million.
Understood. And by the way, the other thing that you have to factor in is the Red Sox were hunting him as well. Yeah. So not only did you likely have to go to the 8th year to secure him and just bring him to the Yankees, but in all probably, a lot of people think that the 8th year is what kept them from going to Boston.
Correct.
You know, and listen, the one thing that we've learned here, all right, we'll get these calls in a sec.
Yeah.
One thing that we know now about the Yankees, and this goes back to the Soto stuff, and even though Hal went very far, and I'm cool with the swing that Hal took for Soto, people could challenge that. We've already had the conversation, but just to push it forward now, one thing that we know about Hal is that he has no issue absorbing bad contracts down the road. Stanton's here, DJ's here, Stroman's here for now. Like,
you should cut them though and move on from LeMahieu specifically.
DJ for sure. There's only 2 more years to go, and they very well might. Maybe if they trade, whatever, they can throw him in. They can eat half the money. There's always ways to rid your hands of this dead weight. But the point is, like, there's always going to be a situation where you've got 2 or 3 albatross contracts, and eventually Aaron Judge is going to turn into one of those, and so is Garrett Cole. The point is, like, for the 8th year for Fried, by the time, even the 6th year when it's probably a bit of an issue, or very likely an issue, at that point, Cole's gone. At that point, Rodon's gone. At that point, DJ's way gone. Stanton's way gone. So Sal's right. Stop worrying about the 8th year.
Yeah.
This guy is filthy. Now, the last thing, I love him. But what I've said is I didn't know if he wanted New York. I didn't know that. Well, now we learned that he did. He said, I want to pitch for the Yankees. Never was I worried about his stuff or his ability to get guys out and just pitch to soft contact and all the things the advanced analytics back up, and they do. I just needed to know that he wanted this. And the fact that he said, I want the Yankees, tells me he wants this.
But that, to me, is still TBD. We've seen guys who say they want to be here. Then when they get here, there's that learning curve.
Understood. That's true. And by the way, but it's not like he was traded here. I know what you mean.
What Fried is supposed to do is make up for the mistake in Rodon, because Rodon was supposed to be the number 2. He wasn't. Or the mistake last year, I thought, by not trading Spencer Jones for Corbin Burns last year to have Cole and Burns 1-2 punch in that rotation. So it is, on paper, a terrific 1-2 punch with Cole and Fried. I just thought it was going to be in addition to Heel and Clark Schmidt, and now maybe it's instead of...
It might be, right. But he understands how if it's not...
It's because of
Kyle Tucker, who can steal 30 bags, hit 30 bombs, hit 300. His OPS was 990 last year. Kyle Tucker's an animal.
BT and Sal on the Fan. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Alex is in East Quogue. What's up, Alex?
Good morning, guys.
Hey, what's happening, Al?
Remember Debbie Garcia?
Yeah.
My point being, the reason I bring him up is, he's the next Pedro Martinez. They already traded their best pitching prospect for Soto. That's a King. If they trade Heel, they're out of their mind because they have not been producing great young arms over the last few years. I think Heel is one of them. If they can put Clark Schmidt in a package, I'm not going to cry about that. Mm-hmm. But if they're thinking of putting Heel in a package for Tucker, they damn well better already have some kind of deal in place for Crochet before that goes down, because they will be sorry if they trade Heel on the heels of trading King. They're going to be bereft for years, for bringing up. They don't have a good history in the last few years of developing young pitchers, and then they're trading them away when they do get a couple of them. I keep Heel. That's the way I feel about it.
I get it. I don't agree, because Kyle Tucker is what is Kyle Tucker? Top 8, top 7 player in baseball? I mean, it's obviously a bit subjective, but he's in that space. So if the Astros want Luis Heel, see you, Heel. I enjoyed watching the pitch last year. Bye-bye. We'll get Tucker.
I don't think Tucker's that good. I think he's good. I don't know if he's top, come on now.
What?
Come on. We're poking holes in Juan Soto, but we're making Kyle Tucker.
No, we're not poking holes.
He's a good ball player.
He's a great ball player. Good.
Yeah, I think he's a good ball player.
All right, well, that's fine.
Where are you getting?
Just tell you, Kyle Tucker is the top 10 baseball player.
Right, but where are you getting great from?
Defensive metrics.
He's a career 274 hitter.
Dude, Sal.
I'm just saying. What was his OPS? You got to be fair. You're minimizing Soto because he's a career 285.
Soto can't run. Soto can't field. Kyle Tucker's a great fielder. He steals 30 bases, and he basically has the same OPS.
He's a good ball player.
He's a great ball player. Listen, I mean, I'm not going to argue if Kyle Tucker's a great ball player. Right. Kyle Tucker is insane.
Right.
He's insane. He's a top 10 player. That's it.
Come on. You think he's better than...
Say, come on, you keep pulling me back in.
Is he better than Juan Soto? Come on.
Is he a better hitter? No. Yeah. Is he a better all-around player? Not a question about... No doubt he's better all-around. Not even close all-around. Absolutely. And I'll take it a step further. Now, people think I'm nuts. I would rather have Kyle Tucker on an 11 or 12-year deal, and he's a year older than Juan Soto for 27 versus 26, than the 15-year deal that Juan Soto got to the Mets. Now, I understand what Soto means to the Mets, the elevation, the brand, all those things that...
2 years older, because he'll be 28 this year.
He'll be 20. He's 27 now. Okay, so a year and a half, 2 years, whatever.
January, he'll be 20.
Okay, but he's also going to get 5 years less. I would rather have Tucker at 11, even 12 years than 15. Dude, you're sleeping on Kyle Tucker. He runs like the wind. He's an animal.
Right. He's a good player. He's a very good player. No, I know that. He's a very good player. He's not better than Juan Soto. He's
all around. He's better.
Well, I mean, okay, so you'd rather a little bit of everything than somebody who's great at what Juan Soto's great at. Getting on base, hitting in the club, moving in New York, hitting with power.
I think the New York, listen, I think it's an interesting thing
Kyle
to weigh. I don't think it's a no-brainer that I say I absolutely want the guy who is better at one thing, but inferior in everything else. And I don't know that I say that I want that guy. Right. Juan Soto's an amazing hitter. Kyle Tucker's an amazing player.
Right.
Okay, it's a big difference.
But one of the big things about you minimizing totals, wow, he's not even a 310 hitter. He's not even a 300 hitter. Kyle Tucker's a 274 hitter. Now he's a great player, top 9 player on the league. It's 274.
Yeah, but I'm bringing everything into it. I'm talking about the speed, the defense. Like, that matters.
And I don't want to minimize.
And by the way, he's a lefty.
Yeah.
So as much as I want Christian Walker to play first base, and I think they'll get him, and I would take Cody Bellinger, who's a lefty, but a bit of a softer hitting lefty.
Right.
I mean, you get Kyle Tucker taking aim at 314 and running. Do it now. Take Luis Heel. Take Luis Heel and Clark Schmidt.
Well, here's the thing, though. That, to me, is where you start to get... I don't think the Yankees will have enough to trade for Tucker and Crochet. Like, that's...
I tend to agree with you.
I don't know if that's realistic. I don't know their farm system the way that is. So that's a little much. So if you're going to then go all in, you just traded for Soto...
Yeah.
Then you're going to trade for Tucker. And by the way, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. We saw how that played out.
I'm so happy you brought that up. There's got to be an assurance that, there's got to be something in writing. Like, I'm not giving up these guys and then doing this dance again. There's no way.
Right. And I don't think that they would this time. I mean, it's a little different than Juan Soto, who clearly was going to be out with force to get the most money. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's not going to be the case with Kyle Tucker. I don't even know who represents Kyle Tucker. But anyway, point is, to me, if you're trading Luis Heel or Clark Schmidt, and maybe when we come back, we can get into which one you would prefer to trade, which one you'd keep. You're getting away from keeping young, controllable, good starting pitching. Mm-hmm. You just paid for Fried. That's usually those pitchers' contracts aren't a good value midway through. Again, I'm not knocking it. I like the move. There's a short window. And then you're trying to go get a guy who you're going to have to pay for eventually in Kyle Tucker. You're paying prospects now and then big money at the end of the year. I just don't know if that's the perfect business model. I think the Yankees would be good next year with Fried, and if they get Tucker and obviously more Walker and stuff like that. But there's a lot at play here that goes into it, whether it's the prospects or the finance.
Which is why I think it's so interesting, so compelling, and really one of the most unique off seasons the Yankees have ever had. They seem to have every ball in the air. It seems like they have... Now, listen, there's a lot of Yankee fans who are livid that Soto is gone. And not just because he's in Queens, but because they wanted Juan Soto for the Yankees. I've always been open to plan B. I didn't think Kyle Tucker would even remotely enter the radar.
Right.
So, and I do think it's a very good point. I'm with you on this. I don't think that, because their system's not good, I don't think they've got enough to get, Tucker and Crochet.
It's not even them. Like, does anybody have enough? After trading for Soto a year ago, last offseason, think about what it took to get Soto. Now you're going to trade for Tucker, which is going to cost a lot. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, Crochet, I mean, I'd be stunned.
I don't think that's very, very doable there. I don't know how teams value Spencer Jones. I don't know what they think of Jason Dominguez. Obviously Heel is Heel and Schmidt is really good as well. So maybe there's a pathway. That seems like far-fetched, but the Yankees are in the Kyle Tucker sweepstakes, and that came out of nowhere, and I'm pumped.
BT, it's Al on the fan. We'll come back, get some of your calls, and I want to get to what you would give up specifically for Tucker as well, BT. Jack Pocket